Welcome back to America's Forum. I'm J.D. Hayworth.
And I'm John Bachman, sitting alongside J.D. and political analyst Dick Morris. Great to have you guys back with us. Guys, Mitt Romney was hit pretty hard by President Obama during the third and final presidential debate in 2012. Governor Romney said Russia was our biggest threat. The president, of course, famously said the 1980s are calling and they want their foreign policy back. Well, yesterday, on one of the Sunday talk shows, Mitt Romney hit back at the president.
There's no question but that the president's naivete with regards to Russia and his faulty judgment about Russia's intentions and objectives has led to a number of foreign policy challenges that we face. And unfortunately, not having anticipated Russia's intentions, the president wasn't able to shape the kinds of events that may have been able to prevent the kinds of circumstances that you're seeing in the Ukraine, as well as the things that you're seeing in Syria. We really need to understand that Russia has very different interests than ours. This is not fantasy land. This is reality, where they are a geopolitical adversary. They're not our enemy, but they are certainly an adversary on the world stage.
Romney speaking on the CBS program Face the Nation. Meanwhile, as we told you, the White House is warning that Russian forces are gathering on the border with eastern Ukraine. They may be poised to invade. The government in Kiev said that the prospect of war with Moscow was continuing to grow after the annexation of Crimea. This is, of course, a very dangerous situation, Dick. You know, anytime troops are massing on borders, even if they're just doing these exercises, there's always the potential for some miscalculation here. You know, we've also heard the president talking about this funding, this aid package that's sitting in Congress right now, and this is tied in a way to the IMF funding. Explain to us what this situation is, because most folks at home are hearing about this in bits and pieces and don't really have a good understanding of what exactly it means.
The House and the Senate have both passed legislation for an immediate infusion of $1 billion of aid to the Ukraine. Forget that that's inadequate, but they've both agreed to that. The Senate, on Obama's motion, is insisting on IMF reforms linked to it. Those reforms, so-called, were first kicked around in the end of the Bush administration. He sort of reluctantly half agreed to it, but he never pushed it. Obama re-upped for them in 2010, and now he's pushing hard to make that a prerequisite of aid to the Ukraine. The reform is to lower the voting bunch of other countries, third world countries, dilute the power of the United States and increase the power of everybody else. Back when the IMF was formed in 1945 at Bretton Woods, there was the World Bank and the IMF, and the World Bank was kind of going to be American, and the IMF would kind of be European. But the U.S. is by far the largest donor, by far the largest political player, and the only country with the right to veto loans. The IMF reform wants to reduce that power and increase the power of everybody else. So in a real sense, a strange, ironic sense, the Ukrainian aid package coupled with those reforms is an inducement to Russia, not a sanction.
So what happens? The Senate, some of the Republican leaders, far from the roar of the grease paint, the smell of the crowd, are they going to go to the president and say, Mr. President, listen, you're working at cross purposes. This is too important to deal with?
Of course. But let's spend a minute on the Ukraine. And I've said this very quickly on your show before, but I want to focus on it. There are three things the United States should do immediately that would stop the Russian aggression against the Ukraine. Stop it, dead. One is to put missiles in Poland and the Czech Republic. The minute we say that we're going to do that, or we say if you cross that border, we are going to put missiles in both of those countries, they're not going to cross that border because those missiles have the effect of nullifying their strategic nuclear force, which is about all they have left as a country. Secondly, the United States should immediately lift legislation that has, or lift laws that have passed that limit natural gas exports to Europe. We have those in place from the era in which natural gas was scarce. Wanted to keep it in the U.S., keep our prices as low as possible. Now we're drowning in natural gas. We're going to become the #1 producer very quickly. We're now tied with Russia for first place. All we need to do is to lift the restrictions so that natural gas can be sent to Europe, and we break the Russian monopoly. And if in addition we build 27 more liquefied natural gas facilities to liquefy the gas, put it on a boat and ship it, we have 110 now, we have 27 more. That would be the third step. If we do that, Russia will realize the handwriting's on the wall in their economic stranglehold over Europe is about to be broken. Europe is not afraid of Russian missiles or Russian troops. They're afraid of Russian gas being turned off. That is about the only power Russia really has. We have so much gas, we can dilute it and eliminate it. The only problem is that our own policy bans us from breaking that monopoly and exporting it to Europe. A quarter of all European gas, half of all Eastern European gas, is from Russia, and he controls that spigot, Putin does. And once we disarm that, we disarm Russia, we make it very weaker, and we also cut their revenues impossibly. 80% of Russia's exports are energy or gas. Half of that is gas. All of that goes to Europe. You start messing with that, and their whole economy collapses. These crazy, stupid, one-on-one sanctions. You can't go to Russia, and you can't go to Russia, or to the U.S., and you can't go either, are ridiculous. They're not hurting anybody. The immediate way to hurt Russia is to stop its monopoly of gas in Eastern Europe.
So why is it, and I hesitate to ask it this way, why does this opportunity to utilize gas seem to give President Obama indigestion? Why doesn't he move? Why doesn't he move forward? I'm sorry, but it just was too. It was too right.
It's not that kind of gas.
I know that. Yeah, that's a simple thing. But really, in terms of political calculus, Ed Royce, my old colleague, now chair of House Foreign Affairs Committee, says the president appears to be reticent. The Senate has a watered-down bill. Why are they not moving forward in this way?
Obama is a gas. To quote the Rolling Stones.
Yes, I remember that. But I thought that was Jumpin' Jack Flash.
I guess it is. Yeah. But God knows why he's not willing to do it. But this is to strike at the geopolitical power of Russia. It's all based on pipelines. And natural gas need not be shipped by pipelines. You can liquefy it, put it on a boat. Nobody really can use oil as a strategic weapon anymore because you put it on a boat and you can't control where it's going to go. Do the same with natural gas, and you eviscerate the main foreign policy lever that Russia has over Europe. Your story said Europe doesn't know if they'll go along with stronger sanctions. That's because they're afraid of losing their natural gas.
Well, it continues to boggle our mind here at home that the president is just so reticent. Is it still the primacy of the green extreme, the people against the pipeline here in America?
Oh, I can't believe that. I don't think it's that. I think that, I used to have a client, Kuczynski, who was the president of Poland, helped him get elected, and I said to him after Obama took office, "You're the most pro-American president in the world, counting Obama."
Wow. Well, that's saying a lot, Dick, and we'll leave it right there. As always, we appreciate your insights when you stop by.
Great to see you, Dick. Stay with us when we come back. New analysis of data may hold the key to where that missing jetliner and the 200 passengers on board could have crashed. Plus, the search continues for victims of a massive mudslide in Washington State. Don't go away. We'll have those stories, plus more after the break. You can always reach out to us on social media. Find us on Twitter at NewsmaxTV, #America's Forum, or send us an email, connect@newsmaxtv.com, or write us on Facebook, facebook.com/NewsmaxTV. JD and I will be back with much more after this.